So what if I told you everything that I'm using to film this video, camera, lights, tripod, light stands, everything that I'm using can fit into 2 bags that you can bring with you on a flight, and you don't have to worry about checking in a single bag. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you everything that I'm using to do that and how you can do it too. I'll put all the links in the description below, and let's get into it. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna give you guys a quick breakdown on some equipment that I have that I specifically am using for travel. So the idea is to be able to fit everything in a roller bag, just a standard size roller bag and a backpack, and not have to worry about checking in bags. You know, if you're flying, it's always a hassle. So the idea behind this is to maintain high production value with the equipment that I'm using, but also have a very small footprint and not have to worry about traveling with so much equipment. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys what's in my bag, and then I'm gonna set something up in a bedroom so that way you guys can kind of see it all set up. You know, this would be a typical, if you're hired to do a documentary, you might be given a bedroom, you might be given a living room area or a kitchen, and you just have to make it work. So that's what I'm going to show you guys, how everything works with the equipment that I've chosen. And I'll put all the links in the description below so you guys have access to it. I've really tried to keep the cost down and still maintain high production value. So those are kind of the big things for me, is I don't want to show up to a shoot and just look like I'm doing this for the first time and I don't know what I'm doing. So I want to make sure the equipment that I'm using doesn't come across like that, and I can still get away with, you know, having things very small and able to break down very small. So let me give you guys a look at my bags, and then I'll set it all up and then you can see it. So here are the 2 bags. This is just a standard size roller bag and then a typical backpack. So it's not a whole lot of stuff, but what if I told you I had a tripod, I had 4 light stands, I had a camera package, an audio package, I had a big 3x1 soft light that I'm going to use as a key light, and then I had a projector, projection mount with a COB light that's 100 watts. I also had a hair light on a boom arm, and then I have a general fill light, and then an accent light. So all of that is a lot, but it all packs into this case. And I still have room to put clothes and toiletries and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about so you guys can see it all. Okay, so I'll go over the easy case first. So this is my backpack, and this is a Think Tank backpack, and I've had it for about 8 years now. So it's seen some things, but it still works great. So inside the compartment, I have a Sony FX3 with a 35mm lens. You can easily use a 24-70. I have a bunch of batteries. Then I have card readers, just random little things. I have an air blower. And then in this compartment, I have a Zhiyun. This is a CX100, and this is the bicolor 100 watt COB light that I have, and it's amazing. I love it. I also have a matte box. Now this is overkill, but I wanted ND for my FX3. You could easily just have a screw-on ND and save a ton of room in here. I have a bunch of charging cables that I'm using for the lights and computer and all that. Here I have a Zhiyun Cinematography CM15, and this is the RGB color accent light that's 15 watts, super bright. Then I have another light here. I'm not really sure. I haven't really used this light too much. It was only like 50 bucks on Amazon. So I don't have a whole lot of hope for it. I mean, the color accuracy is not very good. It's hard to mount, but it's 60 watts, very small, and I'm using it as kind of a general fill light. And it comes with a little mini Bowens mount and, you know, all that sort of thing there. And then I have audio. So this is just a Rode Wireless Go. And then, you know, the usual, I have a laptop and an iPad, memory cards, a bunch of other little things in there. Now this is where things get pretty interesting in, I would call this the lighting and grip department. So in this little pouch here, I have a portable tube light, and this is just inflated by air, and it's ultra small, it's pretty bright, and it's bicolor. So that's what I'm using as kind of a hair light. That just tucks into this little compartment here. And then this is what I'm using for stingers and power and that sort of thing. I even have a little blower to blow up the inflatable lights. So there's a bunch of stingers and accessories in there. Then in the main compartment, let's see if I can do this with one hand. And I've had this roller since I was like a teenager. So I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it's a Volcom branded roller. So I'll get into this a little bit later, but this is essentially diffusion. And then in these two top compartments, I have two lights, and they're roughly a little bit over 2 feet each. So I'll get into that a little bit later. It's a little confusing, but they're essentially just inflatable lights that are bicolor. Then in this main compartment here, I have a tripod, just a portable Manfrotto tripod. I have 4 light stands here, and these are just aluminum travel light stands. Perfect for holding little tiny lights like the Zhiyun CX100. Perfect combo for that. In this case, I have a projection mount that works with the Zhiyun light. And then in this case, I have a bunch of grip stuff. So I have, let's see, I have grip clips, and I have these little adapters that I'm using for the lights. So yeah, this is all I have in these 2 bags, and you could easily put some clothes in here, maybe a 1 to 2 day shoot, toiletries in there. So yeah, I'll get into it, start building it, and show you guys kind of what I end up with. Okay, so now that I'm in the space with the bags, I'm gonna get camera framed up, and then I'm gonna find the right angle, best for the space, and then I'm gonna work on lighting, then go from there. So let me start getting everything unpacked and built, and then I'll get it set up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is my son's bedroom. Very, very basic. We don't even have a lot of furniture in here. So this would be just a complete clean slate. Let's just say you're on a shoot and this is all they have for you to work with. That's oftentimes the case. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit on how, if I had to film in this room, what I would do, what it would look like, just to demonstrate the equipment that I'm using and kind of show you what everything looks like when it's built. But the first thing I'm probably going to do is open up these windows because I don't like the look of these blinds, and I would rather see a little bit outside. Then we do have a lamp here that we'll use as a practical. I don't think there's no aperture bulb in there. You could easily probably pack that with you and bring an aperture bulb, but I'm just gonna make it work with what we have in there. And I'm thinking something like this might be my angle, minus all the Pokemon signage. Maybe something like that. Trying to avoid the bed as much as possible because that's always an eyesore. But yeah, I might move this little guy maybe somewhere in that corner. Could maybe even move the bed slightly so it's out of frame. Just gonna shoot into this wall here. So let's see what that looks like. I'll start getting things set up and then we'll go from there. Okay, so now I'm gonna build the key light now that we got camera dialed in a little bit. And the key light is a little do-it-yourself DIY. I've kind of just made it up of a bunch of different components, but I think it works really well. So I'm gonna build that right now so you guys can see what that looks like. So first we're gonna start with a portable light stand. And since we want to have smart lighting, meaning it's on the same side as the window light, we're going to build the key light on this side of the frame. Make sure all these little things are cranked down pretty tight. Now for the more DIY part, I'm using a set of 15 mil rails and I just join them together. I'm using this aperture bracket. Make sure that's nice and tight. And essentially, this is what I'm going to use for my frame for the light. Okay, now that that's on there pretty secure. Now, for the actual mounting of the light, I'm using these grip clips, and those are going to be roughly inserted here and here. Okay. So now I'm going to get one tube light. Okay, so that tube light is attached. Now we're going to attach this other tube light. Okay, those guys are good. Now we're going to attach the diffusion. Okay, diffusion is attached. Now I have these little siders. This is an extra step. If you don't want light to like spill everywhere off the side, then you can attach these. And these are just little extra strips that I had available. Dangle these around the back. Okay, and then I did attach this little piece of string just to keep it all nice and tidy. Again, this is very DIY, but I mean, it only takes maybe a few minutes to build this actual light. So it's not very long to build. You could tuck these guys in if you want. Okay, so there's our key light. And I'll get my phone so you guys can kind of see what it looks like up close. Okay, so essentially this is it. So we got the two tubes that are kind of reflecting off the top to the bottom, and you got all this reflective material, and then it's kind of bouncing into this diffusion here, giving us a nice soft key light. So that's kind of what it looks like. There's all the magnets attached to the little grip clips. So it's sturdy. I mean, you can definitely walk around and position this anywhere you want. I probably would not use this outside. I don't think it's that robust, but I think for this, it works great. And then it just plugs into these little USB-C, which I have an adapter in here to plug in both. Like that. Now you got to make sure the wattage is enough. This one is 100 watts. So that should give us enough power for those two. Now we're going to work on our hair light. So again, another foldable light stand. And we are getting a lot of natural light already. I just might want to have something that is hitting the back, that is emphasizing that practical in the background. So let's see what that looks like. So we're going to grab another set of rails. Just joining the rails together. These ones are a little bit shorter, but that's intentional. Now we're just going to put that in here, tighten it up, put this side over here, tighten that up. So now we got a little boom arm situation going, and it's all on a little portable light stand. So next we will get two more grip clips, and these are the ones that can be used with a magnet. I'll try and put a link in the description. Okay, now we need our other little hair light. And this can be powered, this has an internal battery, this one. But it can also be powered via USB-C as well. So let's turn it on. Now this is just going to be subtle, so we're going to go about 20%. And we might just warm it up just a tad, maybe like 4,200 or something. And I use two grip clips because there's two magnets, and it's just a little bit stronger if you have both of the magnets connected. Okay, that's looking halfway decent. Now, just to add a little extra touch, we're going to set up another light stand, and this we're going to use with the projector mount. Just put something on the wall back there, just to make it feel like there's light naturally coming in, even though it's not, but we're just going to fake it, just to give it a little bit more production value. Okay, so I'm gonna hit record on here so you guys can kind of see a little bit. of what it looks like with the mannequin in there. Actually, I have my backpack still in the frame. Now I'm gonna sit in so you guys can see it on someone, what it looks like. Ooh, got arms going everywhere. Okay, so here's the frame. I think it looks halfway decent. Definitely doable, you know, for a corporate video. Now, a lot of my work is high key and not so dark and cinematic, even though I love that kind of stuff, but a lot of my clients just prefer this over the cinematic look. So that's what I'm kind of basing this whole thing on, is a very high key corporate commercial type deal. Okay, so let me give you guys a full rundown on all the equipment now that it's set up and how I'm using it. So I got the FX3, I got a Manfrotto B-Free tripod, super solid. Then I have a matte box with a 35mm lens. Then this is my DIY tube light, and it's super portable. All this stuff breaks down very small. Using that as a key light. And then I got this little tube light that weighs nothing, and I have it on a little boom arm on a little portable light stand. Very small, very compact. That's my BTS camera. Then over here, I do have a little light that is just lifting up levels just a tad here, as well as this guy. I just have it resting on my bag, and that's just hitting this wall, pushing light back towards me and up here as well, just to light the space. Oftentimes when you do try to expose for windows, you need a ton of light, not just on your subject, but you need ambient light because you have so much ND trying to expose for the windows. So sometimes people get confused when they're trying to expose for windows and they think they just need a really powerful key light. Well, that's not always the case. You need bright key light, but then you also need ambient fill. Then over here, I have the projection mount, and this is just splashing a little bit of texture on the wall just to kind of give this some life. Now, obviously, this pattern, it's not exactly what you would see naturally, but I just wanted to demonstrate having something back there. And then using a little bit of a practical just to add a little warmth since we're in the house. I do have this set to like 4200 and very subtle. I think it's like maybe 15%. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll give you guys a look inside here. Got the two tube lights on top. And then I just created this little backing fabric. So that way light's not spilling on that wall. It's not spilling on this wall. It's not spilling into camera. So everything's still pretty dim back here compared to subject. So that's why you want to really control that light a little bit more. And it just gives you a nice soft light because essentially it's double diffused. So it's diffused with the natural front end of this tube light, and it's a pretty thick diffusion, and then it's being bounced off here and then coming through here. So it's like double diffused light. Really soft, really portable. And these are bicolor tubes, and you can dim them down. So if you wanted to go bicolor, unfortunately you have to do it manually like this. Now, everything would be 3200, you know, so you could change it back to 55. And you could dim them down if you don't need that much power. They're barely on right now. Nice, soft, and even if you wanted to do one bulb completely off and one bulb completely on, they have different stages of output. So just to give you a rundown on material, I don't think I mentioned that. This is an insert. This is a shower curtain that I just cut to size. I put Velcro and then I stapled it as well, so the Velcro would stay in place. I did the same thing on the tube lights, minus the staples. So I just put Velcro on the edge of the tube light here. So you can just get Velcro and just put it on this side, and then you can attach the fabric like that. And this reflective material, this was just I think they call it like a thermal blanket, but literally just like a camping blanket, I guess. It came in a huge size, and I just cut it down to whatever measurements I needed for this. I don't think there's an exact science. I didn't measure anything. I just eyeballed it. That's probably why it doesn't look as good. Now, if you take your time and really measure it out and get the exact measurements, you could probably clean this up quite a bit. But for me, I just wanted to get it done quick. So I eyeballed it and then just put Velcro on the other side of this. And then you can see the staples. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Yeah, I think my overall takeaway with these lights is that they don't weigh anything. I mean, this is so lightweight. It's crazy. Because it does have a internal battery, and it does have an actual screen. This one does have a little bit of weight to it. But I do like the nice readout on this light versus these ones are pretty much just, they don't have any sort of indication on what color temperature or what percentage you're at. So yeah, there is that, but it also makes them a lot lighter. Essentially, there's nothing but just an LED strip and then the fabric. This one is a little bit heavier because it has the battery, but still weighs pretty much nothing. So that is really awesome when it comes to travel. Is just everything is super lightweight. You can literally just attach it to anything metal, and they're really strong magnets. I mean, you have to like yank this off to really get it off there. This light is $30 on Amazon. Each one of these tubes are $30 on Amazon. And it's crazy that you can buy lighting that is super bright and soft and small for $30. Now, the only downside that I can see to these lights, these are from a company called Inky, is the ability to mount them. They really only give you the magnet option. There is no other option. Like, you can't get a Cardellini and clamp on this. It's just because it is a tube, you'll probably puncture it. They do have these little loops, but to me, I don't want to hang a light. It's not really secure. They do have a little loop here, but to me, those are kind of pointless. It's really the magnets that you want to use to really secure the light. But I will say if you are on a bigger shoot and you have C-stands, these work perfect on a C-stand, just booming out, and it literally will clamp or magnetize right on the C-stand arm. And they're just the perfect little hair light. They're battery operated. This one, the battery will last. It'll give you a pretty accurate readout. So it's at 88%, 25% output, and you'll get about 5 hours and 30 minutes. Now, if you increase that, let's say 100, right now we're looking at an hour and 20 minutes-ish. And that's at 88%. So probably at 100%, you'd probably be closer to an hour and a half in full intensity. But if you're using this as a hair light, it's going to be at like 25%, maybe 50% max in a setting like this. So that will last 4 or 5 hours as a hair light, which is awesome. So the fact that all this stuff can fit into 2 bags is crazy. So you got the camera package, you got 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights that can fit into a small little bag. It's mind-blowing.